So it was my husband who first came along. My husband didn't come. I thought I would never get married. I just figured, who's going to marry me? And he came along much later in life, and nothing like the order I'd put in for him. But he turned out even better. Because sometimes you don't get what you wish for. Sometimes you get something even better. So if you're wishing and you're waiting and you're hoping, have a little faith. Because if it hadn't come yet, it just might mean that a door's being opened to bring you something even better. And maybe you can believe, if you change the story in your head, maybe you'll believe like I do, that the best is yet to come, not behind you. Now, let's don't write that story, because when we write that story, our brain obeys that story. It doesn't know the difference. What we think, the story we write about ourselves, dictates our actions, our attitudes, our behaviors. That's what that tapping process is all about. It's reprogramming those negative thoughts about yourself and replacing them. Sorry, a little burp worked up there. So my husband and I are at that point of the fairy tale they never told you about in the Disney movies. We're in that next chapter where the honeymoon is ended, real life is set in, and suddenly you're getting a good idea of what forever's gonna feel like. Where the all-night hanky-panky turns into, come on, babe, we got 5 minutes before Law and Order starts. Where you go from thinking how cute it is when he drools in his sleep to, dear Lord, please forgive me. But if that man's nose whistles when he eats a sandwich one more time, I'm gonna claw my eyes out. Now, I'll tell you, I married a man who's about a hair's breadth away from being a saint. He got the short end of the stick. I married up. He's a good man, a man of character, a man who does the right thing even when nobody's watching. So don't hear me say anything otherwise. But I actually turned to this charming prince the other night and I said, sweetie pie, would you please stop making that breathing noise? He's like, seriously? He said, now you got a problem with the way I breathe? I said, well, I'm just saying. I said, I can't help it that nothing I do ever bothers you. Yeah, that's what he did. He's like, seriously? He said, did it ever occur to you that you might do a lot of things that bother me and I just don't feel the need to point them out? No. My husband has 2 words, which were my mantra for last year. Motivational speakers, we do weird things like have monthly mantras or words. And they were my words for last year. They're my words for this year. 2 simple words that on the outside don't look like anything fancy. You can say anything to my husband. You can tell him anything. And all he'll do is go, so what? So what? Those 2 words have a lot of power. So much I put them on a sticky note. I put them on my computer. I put them on my mirror. Now I'm going to put one beside it that says flick. So that when somebody does something I don't like, or when there's an opportunity that comes along and I don't get that opportunity, or when somebody hurts my feelings or I feel anxious or bitter or whatever it is, I think of those 2 words and I go, so what? And I cannot explain to you what power those 2 words have. I don't even know why or how it works. But I sure do feel better when I say them. Because they let me get away from that anxious feeling quicker. So what?